let's talk next level performance. And I think that's very important is, we said, okay, we're going to try to really hone our skills and get better at performance. Because if we're getting better, if we're improving who we are, that can take your business to the next level. Doesn't matter what business you're into. If you're really working on yourself, working on me, how can we get better? Increase your earnings is a result of improving your performance. So good brokers really need to have a combination of knowledge, skills, and personal qualities, right, to be successful. So knowledge is power. So I say a good broker needs to have the knowledge, not only in the company that they're representing. Yes, it's good to know features, benefits, but to know the company inside out, to know it as well as an owner of the company, is very powerful. Not that you have to share that knowledge with somebody that you talk to. It's all about timing. When do you really talk about all the knowledge of the company? You have to know the company as well as anybody. You got to be able to answer any questions that somebody throws at you. Now, in some cases, I know the answer to the question, but when it's an operational question, guess what? To me, that opens the door to introduce somebody that knows operations, like Daniel Ellis, a guy that helped develop the app, that helped with the beta testing, that knows everything about that app and then some. That's an opportunity to get him involved in the sales process. Do I know the answer? Sure I do. But I use that to my advantage. Know the product, know the industry. There's competition out there. Guess who's getting into the on-demand laundry service industry? A little company called Walmart getting into the on-demand laundry. Yes, they're about 3 years away, but it's already in the works. We knew that. We knew people were going to come into this business. When you're talking $340 billion at stake, it gets the attention of these big corporate conglomerates that want that piece of the pie. There's over 5,000 food delivery companies in the US. We know Grubhub, DoorDash, Uber Eats, the big names. There's over 5,000. This company, Aloha, could be a $200-300 million company. And guess what? That's nothing compared to the industry size of $340 billion. That represents a piece of the pie, but I'm not talking a slice or a sliver. I'm talking a crumb of the business. Can still be a $200-300 million company. Know the business, know the product, know the industry. I always say a good quality to have, you got to be a people person. Cannot be a secret agent, right? You gotta be a people person. Not so much a people pleaser, but you gotta be able to connect with somebody on a personal level. People will do business with people they know, like, and trust. Bottom line, you have to have a connection on a human level. Now, what does that mean? Well, you got to ask questions. You got to get to know them. Are you married? Well, is your spouse going to be involved in the process? Because if that's the case, get them involved in the process. I had great conversation with a gentleman looking to buy a territory, wanted to get his wife involved. We set up a Zoom call. We met Saturday morning with him and his wife, the two decision makers. Very important. Bring them, get them involved. I realize they have 5 kids. They have soccer practice. This is a family that has the financial means to buy a territory. Very successful couple. So the connection was there. You build rapport. relationship builder. It's really the business we're in. And the more you get to know your client, the more they're going to like you. They're going to trust you. When we're talking about somebody writing a check for 50 grand, 100 grand, $200,000, trust me, they got to like you and they got to trust you, or they're not pulling the trigger. So being that people person is a good quality to have. And we're all here. You've all been successful for a reason. It's because you are people. You are that person that know how to make a connection. I think probably one of the most important attributes, qualities that a broker has is PMA, right? Positive mental attitude. How valuable is that? Let's face it, to do what we do day in and day out, week in and week out, month in and month out, it's important that we have the right mindset. I say positive mental attitude. Yes, sometimes I'm my own worst nightmare. I'm in a funk. I got negativity going on. I have to get my head on straight in order to be effective. I can't get on the phone and talk to anybody if I don't have the right mindset. So when we talk about that path to a positive mental attitude, there's a saying, right? Positive in, positive out. Garbage in, garbage out. You gotta feed the spirit. You gotta feed the soul, mind, body, soul, right? Feed the body, positive. Watching the news, especially with what's going on in this country, terrible things that are happening. You can get sucked into that. Can really change your attitude. Yes. Do you know what's going on? Sure. Do you keep good thoughts and prayers for people, for victims, for what's going on out there? Of course. But don't let that upset your positive mental attitude. Do something good for your mind, body, and spirit. Positive in, positive out. And the biggest challenge for most people is when somebody in their life is that person that tries to pull you down. That's not necessarily a positive influence. And they come in the forms of people that we love. And they try to give you advice that doesn't serve you well. Because misery loves company. You've heard that. There are toxic people out there. Sometimes they come in the form of family and friends. It's tough to get rid of the toxicity, to get that out of your life, because it can certainly bring you down. So we try to really focus on eat, sleep, and drink. Positive. No, and if you're not that kind of a person, and trust me, I wake up in the morning, I don't look and start. I don't have the attitude of it's all roses and rainbows and, the glass is half full. No, I look at it's half empty. Who drank the other half? I have to force myself sometimes to be positive. And sometimes I have to fake it until I make it. It becomes part of your DNA at some point. And when you start practicing positive mental attitude, I'm telling you, it's going to change. Something does change. We can't control people, places, and things. Don't want to. But there's a lot of times it has nothing to do with me. It's none of my business. So we want to lead by example. If you're going to build an agency, you're going to build a team of brokers. People love leaders. You got to lead by example. If you're not doing the business, it's going to be difficult for you to build a team of brokers when the agency is not doing the business. Doesn't matter what we did last month, last year. What have we done? What have you done for me lately? That's the way I look at it. Every single day I wake up. What do I do today to be a positive influence, to be that example? I might be the only good example somebody gets today. So I get to showcase that. Tell me, and I'll open it up here. You know, what works for you? How do you get in that positive frame of mind? How do you get that positive mental attitude? Tell us. Who'd like to go?